Welcome to this episode of Inside Tulsa Athletics. On our show today, we'll be featuring our head wrestling coaches from 6 of our schools that sponsor the wrestling program: Hale, Edison, East Central, Will Rogers, Webster, and McLain. Marlon Houston, Assistant Athletics Director for the district, will also be in today as the supervisor of wrestling. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with the head wrestling coach at Nathan Hale High School, Mike Gray. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our first guest today is Mike Gray, the head wrestling coach at Hale High School. Well, Mike, it's wrestling season.
Yes, sir. One of my favorite times of the year.
I tell you, how long have you been at Hale?
This is my 16th year.
How long have you been in wrestling?
This is basically my 15th year. My first year there, I was just football coach, and in my second year, I restarted the program under Principal Johnson. Mm-hmm. So I started off with 4 kids back then, and
oh my goodness,
3 pairs of wrestling shoes and 2 singlets that we switched out at tournaments. Yeah.
Gee. Well, it's come a long way since then.
Oh yeah, long ways.
How's your numbers?
Pretty good. We've got right now, I think we've got 20 boys I looked at this morning, 11 girls coming out, and the middle school program is building up. We've got 10 in it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm supposed to go next door sometime next week and talk to everybody.
Really, really important, the feeder program.
Oh, yeah,
especially in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have those kids on the mat.
Yeah.
They can't learn it, I put in the wrestling program at Coffeyville High School.
Right.
And we started with nothing. And no junior high program, no nothing. Just we started. And the first year, that's when we had 12 weights.
Yeah.
The first 4 were littles, and the next 8 were football players.
Right.
And that's kind of how we put it in. But after we got through the first year and the kids learned, and I think competition in wrestling is good for them.
Oh, yeah.
To go and wrestle tough people.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We brought ours down to East Central had a big tournament back in the day.
Yeah.
In December. And then Ark City, Kansas was one of the premier wrestling schools in Kansas. So
yeah,
we went
I grew up hearing stories about them.
yeah, they were tough. And so, but our kids learned by that time on the mat and watching other kids wrestle. So,
oh, yeah.
Well, who are some of your outstanding returners?
Well, this year we've got Elijah Weathers. He's going to be an 11th grader. He wrestled at 160 for us last year, so he's looking to hopefully, hammer it home and punch his ticket to state this year. Mm-hmm. And then Dominic Ludwig, he's a junior. He's coming up. And promising kid I've got is a baseball player that's a freshman. He's pretty athletic. So, mm-hmm. He might make some noise on the mat too.
Well, good. You have many kids in football?
I think I've got about 6 coming from football when they finish up this week.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. You wrestle in a district. Who's in your district?
Collinsville, East Central, and Bishop Kelly this year. This will be the last year of this one.
Collinsville's pretty tough.
Oh, yeah, every year.
Now, will you have individual duels, or you just have a quad one day and everybody wrestles?
We're going to have district duels at Hale this year. I think it's January 19th.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be on the home mat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think realistically state qualifiers?
Realistically, I look for Elijah Weathers to qualify for state this year. He's coming on strong, and I'm thinking Dominic Ludwig will also.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, when do you open your season?
December 2nd, we go to the Okmulgee tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, second's the girls in the middle school, and then the third, that next day on Saturday, will be high school boys.
I tell you, that's neat to be able to have them all at one place to start the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a tradition. We always open up with Okmulgee ever since, I've been there.
Yeah.
So.
Who are some of the girls that are?
I've got my 2 girls that were with me last year, Juliana Guerrero and Leandra Ortiz. That were my 2 main ones that were with me all last year and competed and went to the the regionals. And this year I added just a bunch of new girls that've never wrestled before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they're really tough. They got good heart and spirit.
How many girls did you say you had?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good number
Oh yeah.
to start a program. And, girls wrestling in Oklahoma really, just had two state tournaments.
Yeah.
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 So it's in the infant stages of that program.
And I tell girls that come out, I'm like, you can basically write your own ticket right now. I mean, there's so many colleges that are wanting to start, girls programs and are looking to build them. Matter of fact, I had a little college in Nebraska call me last year about those two girls when they were freshmen, Leandra and Juliana. I was like, sorry guys, they got 3 more years.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's to be able to give a kid an opportunity to continue their education.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And participate in something they like is outstanding. Well, as you get into your schedule, obviously you got your district schedule, but who are some of the other teams that you wrestle?
We'll be wrestling Rogers as usual. We always like to keep our duel with them. It's kind of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And then East Central, we wrestle them every year. And a couple new ones I added this year were Hall and Kiefer, Oklahoma started a program. He called me, wanting to get a duel, and I was like, okay, so we're gonna go down there first time.
Well, that's good. I think it's good to help other people around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To keep wrestling took a real shot. Probably 25 years ago when Title IX really came in and they started peeling back programs at the collegiate level. It hurt wrestling a little bit.
It really did.
So I'm glad that you're able to do that. Well, Mike, good luck.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here today, and hopefully we'll have you back toward state tournament time.
Sounds good.
When we come back, we'll have Jim Harper, who's the head wrestling coach of the Edison Eagles.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right, only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale's means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our guest now is Jim Harper, the head wrestling coach of the Edison Eagles. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's wrestling season, and you've had your preseason, and now we're getting ready to the next couple of weeks to have a match or two. How long have you been at Edison?
This is my, I believe, 13th year at Edison.
And in wrestling?
In wrestling.
Yeah.
And football.
And football, yeah. And before that, where were you?
I spent 12 here at Webster and a couple years at Rogers. So I've been the last 20, this is my 27th year.
In
Tulsa.
TPS,
In
yeah.
TPS.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're still here.
Me too. Me too.
Well, as you get ready to prepare for this wrestling season, who are some of your returning starters from a year ago?
We returned most of the team from last year. We have Michael Corbray, a small one at 106, 113, somewhere in that neighborhood, which is 2-time state qualifier. Aaron Johnson in the upper weights, a state placer last year, and we did lose one off last year's team, Nathan Mason, another state placer, but I think we got a pretty good nucleus.
Good. How are your numbers?
Actually, the numbers, I think we're kind of in recovery mode from COVID. Our numbers have gone up this year. We're right around 30 right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good number to have in the room.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice to see a full room.
You bet. Yeah. You fill every weight class?
I think so. I think we will be able to.
That's really good. One of the I coached wrestling. I started a wrestling program at Coffeyville, and that was one of our goals was make sure we didn't give any forfeits just because we didn't have somebody in a weight class.
that can cost you a duel.
Oh, that's 6 points is unbelievable.
It's big.
Yeah, it's huge. And so, but I think that's great that you can fill those. What as you look at your district schedule, who in your district do you have to beat?
Our district is really evenly matched. We have Pryor, which was they qualified for dual state last year. They were, I think, finished third in tournament. We have Sapulpa and Claremore, and they're all three tough.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be competitive. I think we can match up. At that time of year, you never know with eligibility and whatnot, and
Right.
injuries. And
When will you have that duel?
that is in mid-January. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it's mid-January. I think it's at Pryor this year.
At Pryor. Mm-hmm. And all four go to one location.
We all four go, and all four wrestle the same day.
Yeah.
And so we'll know the outcome about 8 o'clock that
And
night.
when you walk out of the gym that night,
We'll know who's going to dual state.
Yeah, that's a good thing. As you do you have any idea where your regional will be?
I haven't heard yet. Tahlequah was always a good spot. I know since they went up to 6A.
Yeah.
That kind of hurt us a little bit. But last couple of years has been at Claremore. But I haven't really heard this year.
Yeah. And that's always one of those difficult things, I think, for the OSSA to find a host. A wrestling tournament is a little bit more intense to administer.
It really is.
A basketball tournament, throw the ball up and they're playing it. It's not near. But a wrestling tournament is kind of like a three-ring circus.
It really is.
You got things going on all over the place, and some people are watching and other people are not watching.
Right.
It's an interesting concept. But so, when do you open your season?
We opened December 3rd. I believe it's 2nd or 3rd in the Okmulgee tournament, and we have a home duel with McLain and Webster that following week. We have Battle of the Belt tournament. That'll be at the Tulsa Fairgrounds. And really, we get really busy come January. But, that December, about the latter half of December, we'll get kind of busy. Then, of course, it kicks into full gear in January.
Right. And then the regionals in February. And
right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. Anything unique, any rules changes or anything in wrestling this year?
There really wasn't a lot of changes this year. This is one of the few years that I remember that as far as major changes, there really weren't any. In the past, there's anything from shoe ties to hair ties. And this year there's really, with the girls being involved in it now as well, it really loosened a lot of restrictions for the guys as far as their hair length and whatnot. So, but this year it's really been a kind of a laid back, more status quo year.
I can certainly remember when we hosted Union all those years, Union Classic, and then regional and state and all that business out there. And Onions Martin was the official. And
I remember
everybody
Onions.
would just cringe when they saw that he was in the room doing the weigh-in because everything was exactly by the book. There wasn't any question about that. Well, Jim, thanks for being here today.
I appreciate it.
Good luck to the Eagles, and
Thank you.
we'll hope we have you back sometime.
I hope
And
so.
when we come back, we'll have Gary Roberts, the head coach of the East Central Cardinals.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with. Not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now our guest is Gary Roberts, the head wrestling coach of the East Central Cardinals. Gary, congratulations on moving into a new building, and thank you for being here today.
Yeah, super exciting to have the new arena over there. So we want everybody to come out and check it out. We got wrestling coming up, basketball coming up, so we're ready for them to come see the new gym.
Yeah, it's really a iconic structure there on 11th Street.
Right.
It really is. It's neat.
When I went over there to the old gym when I was in junior high school and dreaming of wrestling up there in that gym, and then what the kids must think to see this thing. It's really, really nice. You guys did a great job putting all that together.
You know, that was one of the things that during the time that I worked with Keith Ballard, yeah, he always said, our kids deserve this. They really deserve this. And that was our focal point always, is to have a great experience, because, you know, as you know, most of our kids, 99% of them, this is it. You know, when nobody's going to pay to see them wrestle or play basketball or football or anything else once they graduate. So let's make the experience as nice, and for the patrons to come into the facility and feel welcome in a nice, very modern environment. So that's exciting. So how long have you been at East Central?
This is my 28th year there as a coach and teacher, and I went to high school there, and I even wrestled there in junior high, so I think I've lived there for a really long time.
You've got a lot of years at East Central, so you're a Cardinal through and through, obviously.
I sure am.
You bet. After you left East Central, where did you go to school?
I went to the University of New Mexico. Me and my buddy, Taywone Fleshman, we went out there. We was out there 5 years. We both loved Albuquerque, and they're the ones that gave us the money, so that's where we went. So it was a good time. We both made All-American, so that was pretty cool.
You bet.
Gives us something to hang on to.
I knew T-Don's dad. From over in Sand Springs, and when I was in the old Ark Valley Conference, junior high conference, and his dad worked over there. But
legendary.
I hadn't heard that T-Don Fleshman name in a long time. Right. So as you get into this season, and you've had your preseason and preparing for the year, who are some of your good returners from a year ago?
Last year we only had one senior, so we've got everybody back pretty much except for one kid. And this year we have one senior actually. So I have about 25 kids in there right now. Some of my better kids are still in football. We'll get them back next week. We got Mitch Cunningham. He'll be our only senior. And Travis Rogers. I think he's got a real good chance of maybe qualifying for state, maybe placing that state. And then some of our younger guys, Jeremy Marez, he's pretty good. And let's see, Trey McFarland, he does a good job for us. We got some pretty good kids.
Good kids coming back, yeah. When do you open your season?
We'll have our first dual meet at the new arena, and it'll be November 29th.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have Hall and Victory Christian are coming over to wrestle a triangle.
Excellent. That's a Tuesday night, I know, because
Tuesday night.
29th is our last show in November.
Okay.
So it's a Tuesday. That'll be neat. I might come by for that one. I think that would really be neat to watch that. Yeah. As you look at your district, who's in your district?
Well, we got Nathan Hale, Rogers, and Collinsville. So Collinsville is usually a front runner. Their coach has left and went to Salina, but they still have some tough, good kids left, and I'm sure they'll replace that staff. I'm sure they'll just keep, being pretty dominant.
I thought that was
they've won
interesting.
state several years out of the last.
That was an interesting move, I thought.
Yeah.
Him going to Salina, but.
Yeah, he's a hunter and a fisherman, and that's what he's going to.
Right there.
They made him a pretty good deal out there, so
that's good.
He'll probably be happy out there.
That is good. As you look at your team, you have those that you think will go on to the next level into the regional state?
I have 3 or 4 that we think we can qualify for state. So they got a lot of work to do and a lot of improving to do. We don't have a whole lot of experience. I think these kids got at least 3 or 4 years under their belt now. So I think they'll be ready to go this year.
Is you have a feeder program?
Well, I mean, we did, and it kind of went away, and it's came back, and then a lot of our kids moved away. But now that we've started junior high wrestling, I'm going to go ahead and coach the junior high. We'll have junior high wrestling practice right after the high school practice. I'll have a few of my kids stay over and help me because they always want more. So I think it'll work pretty good, and I think we'll keep, as long as we can keep our kids over there, keep them coming through, I think we'll just keep plugging along for a long time to come.
Feeder program is always the key.
Right.
You know, I finished my football career in New Mexico.
Okay.
And was a low ball. We liked Albuquerque as well. When we moved out there, it was a lot different than Oklahoma, of course.
Right. The climate's amazing.
Well, we're glad that you're here today, and good luck when you get into your season. And hopefully we'll have you back toward the end of state tournament time.
All right.
We'll be right back with Derrick Gates, who's the head wrestling coach at Rogers, after these messages.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Derrick Gates, the head wrestling coach of the Rogers Ropers. Derrick, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, it's always great to get a season started. You know, you look at that anticipation, you go through the year and you finish up, and hopefully when you finish up, you can't wait till the next one to start.
Oh, exactly.
And that's where we are today.
Yes, sir.
So how many good returners? Well, first of all, how long have you been at Rogers?
I'm coming in. This is my third season at Rogers. Yeah.
And how did you get to Rogers?
So I wrestled with one of the former coaches, Caleb Furr. He was one of my roommates when I was in college, and he called me, and it was his first year here, and he was like, "Hey, I'm the head coach. I really need an assistant." And I was living up in Kansas at the time, and I was an assistant coach up there, and I was like, "Well, I don't really know, moving all the way down to Oklahoma just to keep doing kind of the same thing." And so I turned him down that first year, and then the next year they brought women's wrestling. He's like, "Hey, you got to come down here. You got to start your own program, get the ball rolling however you want." He's like, "You could be my assistant. I'll be your assistant." And it was like everything I ever dreamed of, kind of. And he was handing it right to me, and came on down and started out as a girls coach. Then he moved on back to his home school at Manford. And so after he left, I just kind of took over everything.
There you go. How do you like Rogers?
Oh, I love it. I love it. We got a really good school, great principal. Our athletic director, super supportive, really good facilities. The kids are awesome.
That's good.
Nothing to complain about.
That's kind of like the days it was when I went there.
Yeah, right?
Back in the day, it was a great place. I moved here as a junior in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And, I had established myself in Louisville as a football player, baseball player, and everything. And my dad gets transferred. And so now I got to start all over again as a junior. But it was a good move for us.
Yeah.
We enjoyed coming there. As you get into this season, who are some of your good returning starters?
So we have 2 boys state qualifiers returning. We have Servant Counselor. He was a 220-pounder last year. He put on a lot of weight for football. He's a big, strong boy. He's going to go play football in college, but he'll be our heavyweight this year. And then we have Robert Brown. He's another state qualifier at 132. And he's looking sharp. He's looking real sharp. Good. And then we have a couple other kids that they took 6th at regionals, got to take 5th to qualify though. So we got Guy Scaff, he'll be 38-ish, and then Isaac Arce at 44.
See, when do you open your season?
So our girls and our freshman boys are starting, it'll be November 22nd. We're going to Warner for their opening tournament, and then the boys are going to open up on December 3rd at Okmulgee.
I see. All right, at the Okmulgee tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, you bet. We have a lot of schools in the Okmulgee tournament.
Yeah, right.
We really do.
Most TPS tries to go. So
Yeah,
that's a good
great.
one.
As you look at the wrestling program, how's your feeder program at Rogers?
So it kind of died off when we had COVID. We'd only had one kid come out, so it was really hard. Last year we built it up a little bit. We had about 8 boys and 4 girls. This year we have 13 girls, and once we get football next week, we should have about 25, 30 boys.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. So we're gonna
Your
be
numbers are
busy.
back. Yeah, I know the pandemic. We've talked about that with other coaches, and matter of fact, I was talking to the Jinx football coach on Friday last week. They had an enormous number of injuries to start the year, and as I talk around people around the city, it seems like that numbers because of the attrition of not being in school, but also a number of injuries this year across the board, and I think it relates back to that 18 months where off-season programs and everything were not quite as intense.
Well, when you don't do anything for a really long time and then you get right back in and
Exactly.
kids think they're invincible and they can just keep going.
Right.
So
You
they're
can.
like, oh, I twisted my knee a little bit, and I'm going to keep sprinting, and
Yeah.
then they start messing things up.
What schools do you have to beat in your district?
So in our district, we have Tahlequah, Coweta, and Shawnee. Last year, we had real close duel with Tahlequah and Shawnee, so we should be pretty much in line. I mean, we graduated a couple seniors. We graduated 4 of them, but we're filling them right in. We've got a couple juniors, a couple sophomores that are stepping in, and even a couple freshmen that'll fill in those holes. So we should be able to be pretty competitive in those. Coweta's kind of they're up there at the top, but we should at least give them a good duel.
Yeah, well, Coweta's had a good program for a while. Who do you think on your team might be able to qualify to go to state?
Well, we've got a freshman that came in. Last year was his first year wrestling. His name's Yahir Guzman. He'll be our 126 pounder, and he's looking really sharp so far. Robert, of course. Guy has a real good shot. Isaac Arcee's got a real good shot. Damon Starr, he's one of our seniors. Eden Sylvan, he's another junior up at 190, and then Servant up in 285.
So you got a chance.
Yeah, we got a good chance to
good
qualify.
chance.
Pretty good handful of them.
Excellent.
So,
Well, good luck. I hope you have a great year, and hopefully we'll have you back before the state tournament.
sounds great. I appreciate it.
When we come back, we'll have Nicholas Eaves, the head wrestling coach at Webster High School.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, Plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Nicholas Eaves, the head wrestling coach of the Webster Warriors. Nicholas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
How long have you been at Webster?
This will be my first year at Webster.
First year. And
Yes,
where
sir.
were you before that?
Tulsa, McLain.
I see. And how long were you there?
I was there 2 years.
2 years there.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about your background in wrestling.
Background wrestling. Started about junior high. Went off to college. Wrestled a few years. Went on coaching football and starting up junior high wrestling programs. But I've coached youth and junior high for over 20 years. And just in the last 3 or 4 years, got into high school coaching.
Where'd you go to high school?
Barnstall High.
Oh, Barnstall. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I did the commencement at Barnstall back in the 80s one time, I think. But and you went to college where?
Yes, sir. I went up to Neosho County.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I spent some time in Kansas too.
Yeah, there you go. That's where we were at.
People said, "How many jobs have you had?" I said, "Well, I've had 2. I've been a coach at AD at 11 different places."
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, the Webster program, as you get into the room now, your preseason and everything.
Yes, sir.
Who are some of your outstanding young men in the room?
Well, we have a few boys and girls on the roster this year that should stand out. Jose Cruz will be a senior this year. We look to see a lot out of him. He was a match away from qualifying for state last year. We think we can get him on the podium this year.
Good.
And he's got a workout partner, Quavy, and he's new to the sport this year, but he's going to be a dynamite at 106. So we look to have 2 or 3 boys qualifiers and at least 1 to 2 girls qualify this year.
You know, talking about that, is it easier, or nothing's easy, but is it more adaptable for the lower weight to not have as much experience as it is the upper weights?
That could be an argument either way. You know, each side wants to say the other's got it easier, but I think in the end, you just got to man up and come with it.
Well, you know, if the heavyweights, if you get into the 190 and the heavies and all those, you make one mistake and you might it's over.
It's over.
The little guys can squirm and get away sometimes. You
Yeah.
know? And so your numbers are pretty good.
We're doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm real excited about the youth program with Bobby Lassiter and those guys bringing in Blue Tea again. That's been astonishing. We had 70 sign up over the summer for the youth, and then our junior high program is going to be stacked too. We've got about 20 to 25.
That's fantastic.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I will never forget. I spent 15 years in Tulsa at Union, and when I came to TPS in 2012, I had a call from Bobby Lassiter, and he said, "Yeah, I'm with Blue Tea. We're over at Edison." I said, "No, you're at Webster." He said, "No, we're at Edison." I said, "What?" I was amazed that this program could leave Webster, but now it's back, and that's good.
Yeah, you should have heard him when they thought he was leaving Edison again.
I can imagine.
But we're sticking in both spots, and we're going to run pretty deep at those youth tournaments.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we'll have about 100 kids out there per tournament. So TPS is headed in the right direction these next few years.
That's fantastic.
Yes,
Blue Tea was just a staple for the West Side. I mean, there was no question.
You ask anybody over here, you can see it's the heart of the program over here, I believe.
Oh man,
So,
it was for you. Onions Martin and Jim Hart and Clayton Wise and some of those guys. I mean, they were Webster wrestling. There
You're
was no
exactly
question
right.
about it. As you get into your season, when do you open?
a couple of boys are wanting to go to the Bigsby Open this weekend. So we're going to start it out with a 6A battle. I mean, that's the best of the best.
Yeah.
But they want to see where they're at right now. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I think when you rebuild a program, it is good to put them out on the mat.
Sure.
They've got to wrestle. You can do all that technique work in the room, but when it's out there and it's just you and me,
right?
I think it's important for them to do that. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Good competition will make them better.
Yeah.
What? When you open your dual season?
Our dual season will be mid-November. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Any tournaments you're going to go to early?
Well, besides these open tournaments with Bigsby, Broken Arrow, but other than that, now we're just kind of looking to get the preseason started and
get after it.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Does the winter break cause any problem for you?
Definitely. Yeah, you tend to worry about practice. Getting the attendance there, but I know in the last few years the kids they're motivating me to get there. So
there you go.
That's pretty easy when you have kids that want to work.
Absolutely,
so, yeah.
Absolutely. You got to beat them off, get them out of the room. Get out of the room.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Real quickly in the last 30 seconds, who's the team to beat in your classification?
Teams to beat for sure. I'd say let's see what we got. Henrietta, it's pretty tough. Vianne's going to be tough. Lincoln Christian, but I think we can compete with them.
Good.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Well, hopefully we'll have you back when we get to the state tournament and talk about some state qualifiers.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have Taywone McNack, the head wrestling coach of the McLain Titans.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right, only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLain, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show what they're good at.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Taywone McNack, who's the new head wrestling coach of the McLain Titans. Taywone, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's wrestling season, and you're new to McLain. You just joined the staff this year, is that right?
Correct.
Where did you come from before that?
I actually just graduated college at Graceland University in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an alumni of McLain. I graduated McLain in 2017. I started going to McLain as a 7th grader.
Really?
And yeah, I went all the way to my senior year, graduated. I started wrestling at McLain my sophomore year in high school. And when I joined the wrestling team, I made it to the finals my senior year, and then it opened some doors for me and gave me an opportunity to get away from home and go to college.
Yeah. How'd you like Graceland?
Graceland was all right. It was I was actually only there. It was really brief. I wasn't there very long. I was only there for a year. But before I went to Graceland, I had went to Cali Community College in Kansas.
Yeah. I coached in Kansas, and I was the athletic director at Upper Iowa University in Iowa. So I spent 6 years in Iowa. I don't know about you, but I didn't like the winter.
Honestly, it wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Well, where we were, we had 58 inches of snow the last year I was there. I said I was in northern Iowa, so that was enough for me.
Yeah, I didn't get the experience there.
Well, let's talk about the McLain wrestling program. You've been in the room a few days now, and how do you look at your prospects right now?
Well, we just started doing a little bit of live wrestling, a little bit of King of the Mat, and just trying to get some live goals in. And so far, we have a couple of wrestlers that I got my eyes on that I'm expecting us to do really well in the years to come, because they will be returners. I have some freshmen, and that's always exciting when you got freshmen that's going to be returning. So I think we're gonna have it's gonna be some good years.
Do you have a junior high program?
Yes.
Excellent. And does it go down to the elementary too?
It goes down to, so we just started up our Titan Wrestling Club this year, so we'll be coaching ages 4 to 15, and then we have Monroe Middle School also.
Excellent. You know, I think early on, wrestling on the mat, there's no substitute for that. You can do drills and everything else, but to actually get out and wrestle, you learn a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the best way to get in wrestling and conditioning in general is to be out there wrestling. We went through a whole preseason, but it's always a hard preseason, but it's just as tough when you get on the mats, or even tougher, because those 6 minutes, I mean, it's just constant contact and you're going at it, and so it's definitely a different feel.
You know, the thing always interested, and I started the wrestling program at Collierville High School back in the day, is that when you go on the mat, it's just you and the competitor.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets down to it, you know, you have a team, but yet you've got to do it yourself.
Right, and that's what I appreciated the most about wrestling. Like I said, I'm new to wrestling. I had started wrestling my sophomore year in high school, and I'm a little bit seasoned now that I've been in college, but that aspect of it, like not being able to blame your teammates, it teach you a whole lot about accountability, and that's definitely something I want to be able to teach the kids from wrestling, and then also to have that translate into real life.
I think that's fantastic, Taywone, because I think a lot of times we get so hung up in winning and losing, and we forget about what we're here for. We're trying to educate students, and the discipline that is involved with wrestling, making weight, all those things that you have to sacrifice that a normal student doesn't have to do.
Right.
It makes it a lot different, and I think it pays dividends on those young men like yourself who go to college and then come back. And how great is it to be back at your high school as a coach?
Oh man, it honestly feels amazing. Like it's even better because this year, I mean, of course, McLain is not that big on wrestling. When I was in high school, I was the first one to place in like 2 decades. So like I made the 4th person on the team when I joined the wrestling team my sophomore year in high school. This year we have 25 wrestlers.
Outstanding.
That started in September. It started in preseason and pushing out through the season with us. And then we have like 12 football players. I'm expecting about 12 football players to come in.
Really?
So this is the biggest team we had in a while. And I mean, everybody's on campus is definitely feeling our presence.
Excited about that.
Yeah,
we have over 30 in the room. It's really good. Yeah.
So that's
You'll be able to fill all the weights?
The only weight that we having an issue to fill right now is our heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
Heavyweight, but every other weight, yes.
Big guys are always hard to find, it seems like. Whether it's football or wrestling or whatever it is.
Yeah, hopefully we get a big football player in there.
Well, that's great. Well, Taywone, I'm glad you're here. Hope we can have you back sometime. We get toward the end of the year. And good luck to the Titans this year in wrestling.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Marlon Houston, TPS Assistant Athletic Director.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back. Our last 2 segments today, we have Marlon Houston from the Central Office, Assistant Director of Athletics, and his expertise today will be wrestling. You have a lot of expertises, but, but we're talking about wrestling today.
All right.
Marlon, you might just tell our viewers about your background in wrestling and how you got into the wrestling program and so on before you came to TPS.
Yeah, well, wrestling's been part of my life since I was 8 years old. So, yeah, I started wrestling when I was 8 and wrestled junior high and high school. Small town called Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Did pretty good there as a wrestler. And on through high school, I ended up being a 4-time state qualifier. And I won the state championship my sophomore, junior, and senior year. Became a high school All-American and then wrestled on a Division I level at a place called Morgan State University.
Oh, yeah. You bet.
Wrestled there 3 years, redshirted 1 year. They dropped the program my 4th year that I wrestled. I also played football there that year. But since they dropped the program, I came back home and I finished up my eligibility wrestling at Oklahoma State. Soon as that was over, I started coaching football and wrestling from high school all the way down to the club age as well. And I've been coaching there in that capacity ever since. Always been a wrestling coach, always been a part of wrestling. Had kids that wrestled, and all my teaching and career and coaching career has involved wrestling, usually as a head wrestling coach. And as I came into the district, that's what I still did, was coached multiple sports, but wrestling was always a part of my sport. And last year when I moved into the district office as athletic director, after my first year of doing that, then I came into as far as overseeing the wrestling side of programs within our district at all of our schools.
Well-rounded wrestling program.
Yeah.
Just for a moment, let's kind of go off course and say, how has it been your transition to the central office?
My transition is as far as being able to have an impact and wanting to be a resource for our coaches. That's the transition from always being the one that did everything to now just trying to be a sounding box and give directions. And still you want the coaches at those sites and the athletic directors at those sites to take ownership and just learning when to push, when to stand back, but at the end of the day, my goal is I want my coaches that I consult with. I want them to understand that I just want to be a resource and to serve them any way I can, problem solve for them, and give them advice of things that worked for me and things that I've done, things that I've wanted to do, or things that I've seen done at other places. And we have 9 high schools, right? And not each high school is the same. Different kids at each school, different circumstances. Some people might be at this level in this area, and some might be at a different level. So that's really been the fun part, just being able to put on all the different hats.
That's one of the things that I noticed most. I spent 15 years at Union and went to Tulsa Public School in high school, and I thought I knew all I needed to know about TPS. And when I went into that central office position as the district director, I found exactly what you said. We had 9 schools. We had 9 different cultures. And somebody that I could hire at one school, I couldn't hire at another school just simply because it didn't fit. And that really amazed me how different each one of those environments were for each one of those schools. But that's what makes it fun.
It makes it fun every day.
Figure it out. So let's talk about wrestling in TPS. Where do you think we are right now at the high school level?
I think right now we are on the edge of really having growth in our sport. We have a lot of young coaches that have came in different schools, and it's really kind of revitalized the culture and wrestling. There's been a push for 10, 15 years to grow the sport of wrestling, and they've never stopped with trying to move to that direction across the state. And it seems like across the state right now, wrestling is on the upside. Adding girls wrestling has really, really helped. Social media has really been a big part of things. I think we're having more on the collegiate level events in Oklahoma. We've been having the Big 12s at the BOK has really helped the community and bring awareness to the program. And this year we're going to have the NCAAs come. So as far as events that kids are seeing and hearing more, and then social media has helped, it's really been I think that's been a really big key as far as wrestling, the growth of wrestling.
Well, good. Well, we'll talk about that and the impact of junior high wrestling when we come back after these messages.
All right.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale's means that you have to be consistent outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back, and we still have Marlon Houston from the ESC, Assistant Athletic Director and Supervisor of Wrestling. Marlon, we had talked about the potential growth in the high school programs, and of course that lends us to thinking about how do we feed those programs. Let's talk about the junior high. What are we doing in junior high wrestling?
The great thing is we're picking up where you left off. You made the initial push of putting more sports at the middle school level. So we have 10 middle schools in our district. This year, we're going to have 8 of the 10
Fantastic.
With wrestling programs. So the new programs we're adding is at Memorial Junior High and Carver Middle School.
And that's really good because those are 2 high school feeders that don't have wrestling right now. The high schools don't.
Yes, it's really great. Both of them have, their numbers are magnificent, even on the boys and the girls side.
Super.
So yeah, that's it's going to be hard to bottle all that up. It's going to really easily transition into the high school.
Now, will our junior high, will they wrestle one another? Are they going to wrestle outside the district, or how are they going to schedule?
Well, some of our high schools already have pretty good junior high programs along with their schedule. But what I'm going to do is come up with an inter-district schedule, and we're going to have maybe more than. Well, we will have more than one team at a particular site.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to make sure that we do kind of like a round robin type format for those schools. And for right now, I'm projecting to have 7 different dates where all of our middle schools will have a chance to wrestle each other. Mm-hmm. Now, some of them might already wrestle each other because of the high schools might already have their junior highs on that program. Mm-hmm. But we'll still be able to get as much participation out of that we need to have a full schedule.
One of the things that I know was always a challenge for us in wrestling was finding qualified coaches. How are we with that in Tulsa public schools now?
Well, right now we're fortunate. I think we're in a good space, a good foundation with our coaches. I believe we match up real well with our high school coaches and our middle school coaches. We've really been fortunate, and it takes a little luck for things to go right. Even to win any game or match, you got to have a little bit of luck. And right now, luck has been on our side, and it's been such a great results that we're buying extra mats to use across the district to make sure when we have our events, we have enough mat space. We're revitalizing some of our traditional tournaments that Hale has had and Rogers has had, and we're coming together. We're going to try to work together. We're going to try to build a knowledgeable wrestling community where we all work together. Mm-hmm. So we've been talking at round tables with Edison and anyone that knows or has been putting on tournaments. We're going to try to be able to rally behind each school. When Edison's having their tournament, we're all going to try to rally behind them with all the help and the resources. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to try to move it around the district so we can start pushing a really good product and having really good events.
Well, that's great. That's great. So you envision you'll have a TPS junior high tournament at the end? Or?
Yes, we're going to go ahead and have a TPS all-city tournament. We're still open to know because, we need to pay for things too. If we're going to open it up to other inner city or local wrestling clubs. Sure. But, yeah, we're going to have right now we're pushing to have a wrestling tournament the first weekend in January in East Central's new gymnasium. Mm-hmm. So that's our goal is to make sure we can get that done.
You mentioned the outside events. That has, I guess, had a tremendous impact with the Big 12 and the NCAA coming to the Tulsa at the BOK.
Yeah, like this last Big 12 they had last year And we were fortunate to get tickets through our office of Mick Wilson. We divvied out tickets to each program that could get coaches and kids there. So that was really nice to see all of our kids being able to experience that. And we have a handful. I don't have that number for us, but we have a handful of kids wrestling on the next level from different schools. And matter of fact, one of our kids who left our district and wrestled in college is now at McLain Head High School.
We had Taywone on today.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that he didn't come out to wrestling until he was a sophomore. And he said it was the best thing he ever did to continue his education on at the collegiate level and to wrestle at the collegiate level. And had he not had that opportunity at McLain, I said, how is it to be back at home? And he said, it's just unbelievable, to wake up every day and be the head coach at McLain.
And that's the goal, to come full circle. You asked a question about quality coaches. If we could get those kids to the next level with a degree, now they have an opportunity to come back and get to give back.
Well, good luck this year. Hope everything works out well. And we'll be back after these messages.
Thank you.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with. Not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
We hope that you enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about TPS wrestling on today's show. We also hope that you have a better understanding about the importance of quality coaching and the effect of the student athlete, not only on the mat, but in the classroom. I want to thank our coaches for sharing their wrestling programs with us today. Time during the preseason is very precious. Each week and each coach prepares their team for competition this winter. Also, I want to thank Marlon Houston, the District Assistant Athletics Director, who brings us up to date on the information about the TPS wrestling program across the district. Good luck to all of our coaches and our teams as they represent TPS in the state of Oklahoma. We'll see you in 2 weeks.